All right, so in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to graph a piecewise function. And this is the function that we're going to graph. Okay, so we have some piecewise defined function. You have a line, a quadratic function, and a square root function. And we're supposed to graph it on the specified domain. And the first thing I'm going to do is take a look, right? I have x is less than or equal to -1. So I'm going to draw a dashed line, vertical line, at x is equal to -1. Okay, so this is x is equal to -1. And I also have a graph, 2x squared plus 1, for x is greater than or equal to -1, but less than or equal to 2. So 2 is where I'm going to draw my next dashed line. Okay, x is equal to 2. And then I have a graph, x is greater than 2. All right, so just to give you a big picture, right? This is x is less than or equal to -1, this region right here, right? And only in this region am I graphing the line x plus 2. In this region right here, right, this would be x is greater than or equal to -1, but less than or equal to 2, right? That's in this region between these two vertical lines. And then for x is greater than 2, right, this would be the last region right here, okay? And that's the idea. For x is less than or equal to -1, I'm graphing the line x plus 2. In this middle region, I'm graphing the square root, 2x squared plus 1. And for x is bigger than 2, I'm graphing the square root of x minus 1. All right, so if you have no further problems with that, what I'm going to do is just quite simply plug in points, okay? So in this region right here, for this line, x plus 2, I'm going to use 2 points, okay? 2 points. Here's x, here's f. The point I'm going to plug in is the boundary point, which is -1. So if I plug in -1 over here into this function, -1 plus 2, well, that give me 1. So at -1, comma 1, right, it's exactly on the vertical line. Because there's an equal sign, I'm going to draw a little circle over here. Now, I don't want to plug in points to the right, because that's no longer a line. So maybe plug in one more point, maybe plug in -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. And there is your line, -2 comma 0. Or there's the second coordinate of your line. And then you connect. Now notice I did not graph across the whole page, right? Because my function, my line, is only defined for x is less than or equal to -1. Okay, so I'm done over there. And that's really all there's to it. Okay, so in the middle region, right, I'm going to graph 2x squared plus 1. I'm not going to get super fancy. I'm just going to plug in 2 points. Okay, so 2 points. And what are those 2 points I'm going to plug in? I'm going to plug in -1, and I'm going to plug in 2. I'm going to plug in the boundary points. So if I plug in -1, right, 2 times -1 squared plus 1, if you do some math, right, this is 2 plus 1, which is 3. If you plug in 2, you're going to get 2 times 2 squared plus 1. 4 times 2 is 8. It looks like I might run out of space here. 8 plus 1 is 9, okay, so 2 comma 9. All right, so 2 comma 9 is going to be all the way up here. I'm sorry. Let's say 2 comma 9 is up here. At 2 comma 9, it's going to be a closed circle, okay? We'll call this 2 comma 9. And then at -1 comma 3, right? -1 comma 3 is down here. It's going to be an open circle, okay? And so, because I didn't draw enough tick marks, you're going to have to excuse me. It's going to look something like this. And it's going to stop, okay? Because it's a parabola. Now, the question is, why are you drawing an open circle over here? Because at the x is greater than 1, or sorry, x is greater than -1, there's no equal sign. Why did you draw a closed circle? Because it says x is less than or equal to 2. So at the boundary, you would draw closed. Over here, it's open because it does not include the value of -1. Okay, so again, I did not draw enough tick marks, but there it is. All right, last but not least, right, this is your square root function, basically shifted 1 to the right. So again, I'm just going to plug in 1 point, and that's the boundary point. So if I plug in 1 into my square root function, square root of 1 minus 1 is 0. So at 1, I have 0. And then if I ask you, is it open or closed? Hopefully you say it's open. And the square root graph looks something like this. Okay, you can plug in more points if you want. Let's say you wanted to plug in, I don't know, let's say you wanted to plug in 5, 5 minus 1 is 4, square root of 4 is 2, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 comma 2, maybe, We'll extend this graph right here, 5, comma 2, maybe right there. Okay, so if you want your graph to look a little bit more accurate, that's what it would look like. All right. So that's all there's to it in terms of graphing and piecewise. You're going to do this by hand. And on a quiz or test, I know it's very easy just to use a graphing calculator, but this is how I want you guys to show your work. Okay, plugging in points, drawing the vertical lines, the boundary lines. At least it shows me that you know how to do this by hand.